Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by the Hard Truth Distilling Company in Brown County, Indiana.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Time!
Three on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game!
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Float game for the win! Ayler's gone. Come on, touchdown, Indy! Woo! IU! America! They got a football team now!
Pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Now, from the Hard Truth Studios, here's Jim Coyle.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome aboard to another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you on this Monday, a new week. Greg Rakestraw from the ISB Sports Network with us to start things off as well. How was your weekend, sir?
My weekend was good. What about yours?
Not bad. Was down in the Louisville area, close to southern Indiana, but over and did the show from the Churchill Downs on Friday for Kentucky Oaks Day, and decided to take a pass on Derby Day. It was not looking too good, so I watched it on TV. But good weekend. I just can't get warm, man. I'm ready for some warmth.
So now the real question is, because you dress like a radio guy and I'm dressed the exact same way, at least I am this morning, did you dress the part when you were at Oaks Day? Was it like a light blue jacket and a pink tie? Did you go as many pastels as possible the way you're supposed to?
No, I had a pink tie laid out. I wish I had have taken it because I forgot when I got down there that it was on Fridays is Breast Cancer Awareness Day. And they have a breast cancer walk, survivor walk, and I kind of forgot about that because it was pink everywhere. And dude, go back and watch just that section of the show the other day. There was a couple of guys. I'm like, where does a guy find a suit like this? There was one that was neon pink. But yeah, a lot of pink there on Friday.
That even applied to last night's Pacers game, Jim. Because I don't know if you saw Greg Anthony. He went with the pink jacket last night. And clearly, not that Greg cares who wins the series. That worked for the Indiana Pacers, given how they played and how they shot the basketball last night.
Yeah, I did see the game, man. What a great opening series win. You steal home court advantage away from the Cavs in game one. Of course, they can get it back. But as of right now, the Pacers have home court advantage, which is a cool thing to have. And they look good in that game. They sent a message.
They played well. And I think this is clearly a series the Pacers have a shot in. I think that was the case going into game number one. The Cavs are the better team. And let's acknowledge the Cavs are without their starting point guard in Garland, who is out with a toe injury for a third consecutive game. So does that change some of the chemistry, so to speak, if he is back, and they're hoping he is back on Tuesday night against Cleveland? If not, they think he'll be back for Friday's game, here in Indianapolis. The Cavs are a really good team, but you know what? So are the Indiana Pacers. And for those that didn't follow the NBA season, there was really a separation after about three teams. The Cavs and the Celtics in the East and the Thunder in the West. And then the Indiana Pacers were as good as any other team in the NBA this past year. And they looked the part last night. And it's not anything overly complicated. It's spacing and making jump shots. And that's exactly what the Indiana Pacers did last night. They made 10 more threes than did Cleveland on their home court. And Indy shot north of 50% from three-point range. If you do that, you got a pretty good chance of winning the game.
You're going to win quite a few games. And yeah, they looked really good. They just looked confident, man. And I talked about that going into this series with, I guess it was with Dustin Dopirak, but they just look really confident right now. They're playing, I think it was with Chris Denary, actually. Their confidence level, it was on display last night. It was like they were playing at home. I mean, they had that home confidence at playing in that game, and that's tough to beat. And I think that Cleveland got punched in the mouth.
Well, the way I would phrase it is this, and trust me, Jim, I will clean up this phrase. So don't go diving for the dump button. The Pacers play with the best level of don't give a that you could possibly have. And I mean that as in, don't care if it's Gainbridge Fieldhouse, don't care if it's Cleveland, don't care if it's LA, don't care if it's the moon. This is how we're going to play. This is how we go do what we do. And then they went out and did it. The other thing that I think plays in the Pacers' favor in this series is that the NBA is seemingly wired more so than any other sport where you have to have previous playoff experience. And this is a series where both teams are somewhat similar. The Pacers played farther in the playoffs last year. Pascal Siakam has more playoff experience than anybody does that's going to get regular rotation minutes in this group. Donovan Mitchell, had some good series in his previous stint, in Salt Lake City before coming to Cleveland. But it's not like the Pacers are playing this battle-tested playoff team. They are playing a very good basketball team, but one that is young and still developing. And so those were a couple of reasons why I thought, you know what? I think the Pacers got a shot in this series. Now, again, the Cavs are the 1 seed for a reason. The Cavs won 64 games. All right. I think they still got to be favored in the series. I really do. I think they're that good. And you saw some of the issues they posed against the Pacers last night. Pascal Siakam had 17 points, but this is a level of length he is not used to dealing with. He is normally a matchup problem for teams. The way the Cavaliers are built, they've got some guys that can guard him and kind of take him out of the equation. So, can the Pacers maintain that shooting percentage? It's going to be tough to do. But now if they can, they already got game 1. If they find a way to win game 2 tomorrow night, now we're having a completely different conversation about this series. Good on the Pacers. Still a lot of work to do.
Got the Pacers. Now we've got IndyCar that is lodging up. Indy is now on the clock, baby. Now that the Derby is passed, especially, but Indianapolis at the end of the month had an Indy race this weekend. But as they get tuned up now, does all the focus turn to Indianapolis now?
Correct. So it's rare that there is a race in May before or after, and we kind of have both this year the way the calendar falls. So Barber was yesterday, which for those who don't follow the series is suburban Birmingham and a great road
Alabama
course. And the dominant driver has been Alex Palou. He is off to the best start that any driver has had in the series, maybe since Scott Dixon in the COVID year or since Dan Weldon 20 years ago when Dan won 4 of the first 5 races, and that included the Indianapolis 500. Palou is crushing the field. And so it's the road course weekend this weekend. The best way to describe that would be similar to, say, the old Busch Clash before the Daytona 500. I mean, this is a full points-paying race. It is on the road course, but it's one of those things where, once we, give the winner his trophy, everybody's like, all right, let's think about the 500 now. It's great that we have a race. It's great there's a 2.5, 3 hour window to talk about the 500 on network TV. But as soon as the race is over, it's like, all right, that's nice. Now let's go qualify for this thing. So really simply, this weekend is road course racing. Next weekend is qualifying for the 500. The following weekend is racing the Indy 500. And again, everybody is chasing Alex Palou because he is achieving a level of dominance early in the season that is rarely seen in the IndyCar series.
Yeah, a lot of great names to talk about. Of course, Joseph Newgarden going for 3, which has that ever been done?
No.
I didn't
so
think
the last guy that has won back-to-back was Elio Castro-Neves in 02 and 03. You think back to, what we would call Big Al Unser Sr. did that in 70 and 71. It does not happen, and especially in this era where the fields are so deep. Now, again, does Joseph Newgarden have a chance to win the race on May 25th? Absolutely, he does. But it has been a somewhat slower start for the Penske cars than normal. Sometimes that can get wiped away when you come. And again, to be honest, there's not been an oval track race yet. So that could change things up a little bit. But Newgarden and the Penske cars had a better showing yesterday. Guys like Scott McLaughlin, Will Power, his teammates were running in the top 5 most of the day. Joseph was kind of around top 10. And again, for those who don't follow it, it's now a 27-car field every week. Obviously, for the 500, it's 33. We have 27 full-time participants in the league at this point. So it makes it you can have a good race car and not have a sniff of the podium. And that's kind of what things have turned into in the series now. So it's not been the best start of the season for Joseph Newgarden, but is he one of the favorites for 3 weeks from now? Jimmy, absolutely he is.
Oh, absolutely. Well, when it comes to race day, it's everything's wide open. I mean, you have to have a lot of luck. You have to have everything going for you, and you have to have your equipment working right, the pit stops working right. Everything has to go right. Fuel mileage, tire maintenance, holding the tire. There's just so much that goes into it, and just who's out at the right time at the end of the race. But Pato Award, man, I'm waiting for Pato Award just to hear that name. That's just to hear him cross that. But it's going to be another exciting Indianapolis 500, as it always is, and looking to be another sold out house, man.
Correct. So it'll be me and 350,000 of my closest friends hanging out 20 days from now at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So I'll be out there both Friday and Saturday for a Grand Prix weekend. I'll be out there Friday, Saturday, Sunday of Quals weekend, and then obviously on race day. So I put my racing hat on for about 3 weeks of the year, and that literally starts as of first thing Friday morning.
And there's a lot of things that fans can go out to and check out that goes on during this time.
Correct. And one of the first things that immediately comes to mind is that the Speedway Museum is brand new. It's basically shut for 18 months.
That's right.
And has completely been redone. And of all of the different things that you can go see, the thing that I have not been in there yet, but the thing that has drawn the most attention is the garages that have been rebuilt to match the period in which they were out there. So if you've been to the track in the last 40 years, it's the concrete block garages. Before that, they were wooden garages. So there has been a couple of those that have been recreated and shows cars and parts and equipment of the time. And so the museum went from, hey, this is really cool, to jaw-droppingly good. So when you're out there, go check it out. But for example, this weekend has all the different feeder series of the IndyCar. So there are 3 different, primarily road racing series. And these are drivers that range from the age of 14, 15 to their early 20s. This is where you learn and cut your teeth. USF 2000, the Pro Series, the Indy Next Series. And they all have 2 different races on Friday and Saturday. So if you go to the track this weekend, you will see on-track activity for like 5 to 6 hours each day. And so that's part of things. Again, this is almost like a festival. This is almost like spring training. This is, hey, come check out all the activity before then we really kind of get white knuckle focused on what's going on for the Indy 500.
Yeah, lots going on and looking forward to it. What is up next for you?
So I've got high school baseball tomorrow night, college softball Wednesday, Thursday, all kind of track programming Friday and Saturday. Thankfully, Sunday off for Mother's Day for the wife and for Rakestraw. So I tell people once I get to about May 5th or 6th, I'll see you in 3 weeks. And today's May 5th. So kind of gives you an idea.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it as always, man. Well, it's Indy time and the focus can turn there. And of course, there is some high school basketball coming up yet with the All-Stars,
sure,
and all of that a little later on. But the focus is on Indy, baby. And hopefully the weather's going to warm up a little bit and start to get to where it needs to be. I'm done with this late winter stuff.
The good news is that the forecast is for 60s and 70s all week here, which is obviously absolutely perfect. There are some slight showers during the week, but the forecast for the weekend looks tremendous. This is also where I'll point out road course racing, you can run in the rain. So nothing in the forecast that would indicate any sort of issues or delay in terms of race activity this weekend. But yes, the month of Mays that have been the best have been the ones where we've had both the pacers and the racers. And so far, so good in terms of that calendar, knowing we're just getting started this month.
Looking forward to it. Greg Rakestraw from the ISC Sports Network. Make sure you're going there and collecting all of the content they have, baby, and giving Greg a follow as well.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, sir. We've got lots more coming up from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios. Up next, newest Hoosier Conor Enright joins us on the backside of these messages, back right after this.
Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue, and you get it for just 0.9% financing. Or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemooreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth Sour Mash Bourbons, Sweet Mash, and Hard Road Ryes, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular toasted coconut rum. Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios, and very happy to have Conor Enright joining us today, man. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you? Appreciate you having me on.
It's our pleasure, man. Thank you for taking the time for joining us. We really appreciate it. I know you're getting ready to matriculate down to Bloomington in June, so you can come in. Where are you now?
I'm living in Chicago right now, just in the city where I was at from DePaul, but I'm pretty close to home, so I go back and forth a little bit.
Not very far away. You can catch us on WJOP up there.
Yeah.
There you go. So what was it about Indiana? I know you've been asked these things 1,000 times, but what was it about Indiana? Because you committed back when the roster wasn't full, and it's not completely full yet, but it's a lot more on there now. But you were one of the guys that made a decision to come to Indiana and follow Darren DeVries. What was it that it came to all of that?
Yeah, I guess it was a combination of two things. One, just I've been a fan of Indiana since I was like 15, so having that opportunity to come play there, a school that I really like. And then Coach DeVries, I just completely trust him, what he can do, what he's going to build, how he coaches. So the combination of those two things.
So you said you're a fan of Indiana up in the Chicago area, which Chicago is home to, I think, it's the second largest city in America of Indiana alums. So that makes some understanding there. But when did you start following Indiana basketball?
My brother, actually, he went there. He graduated 3 years ago. So when he went there, I kind of started following a little bit more and been a fan ever since.
Oh, that's very cool. So you've already got a brother. That'd be weird for the family now to have two graduates, unintended graduates from IU. I can't remember.
Cool.
Do you have a year left, or is this your last season?
This is my last season. I got this one coming up, and then we'll see. If the NCAA just gives out more, then you never know. But just one for now.
Well, we just saw that. There's two former Hoosiers that are trying to get that extra year, but we'll talk about that later. More about you. You come in from DePaul and are known as a facilitator, man, a guy that has a high assist rate. And what about is getting the ball to guys to score? Is that something that you prefer to do, you like to do, or is that just how it's worked out? I know being a point guard, it's your job, but to be good at it, you have to like what you do.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather celebrate other dudes getting buckets than myself, but I think that's just kind of always the way I've been wired, always the way I've played. I've been fortunate to play with some really good players at DePaul and Drake, so I think having scores around me has definitely helped. But yeah, it's something that just been a part of my game always.
Now, obviously, having come from Drake, there's some familiarity with Darren DeVries, and I'm sure that played a huge part in it. What is it about Darren DeVries, his coaching style that you like for your game?
I think he's a lot about toughness, which is a big part of my game. And I think whether it's in practice or games, he's extremely detailed. And that's just something that that's the way I'm wired a little bit too. Like I need to know the little nuances and steps of everything. And I think that's just the way he coaches. So I think it's a good fit there. And obviously, I've seen what he did at Drake. So I've seen it firsthand. So I can attest that we're gonna be a good team when we come to Indiana.
And what is it about you mentioned toughness, which is always important no matter what, because there's just whether it's coming time for a game that comes down to the wire and you just have to be mentally tough or physically tough. But when you say toughness, what is it that he demands that gets the teams to that point?
It's in practice. He makes practice high intensity, upbeat and just nonstop all the time. He demands, competitiveness all the time. So giving it your all pretty much, and then obviously mentally, staying strong in those moments when you're down 8 and you gotta rally and come back, not just giving up. So I think he makes practice very hard and puts you in uncomfortable situations that lead us to kind of create net toughness one way or the other.
How's the shoulder? I know you come off of wrong one. I know you went through a shoulder injury last year that cost you some games. How's that?
It's doing good. I've been shooting, lifting, working out a little bit more. But yeah, it's feeling good. It's on the right track. Should be participating in a lot of stuff this summer as well.
And that gets going in June. I know I've talked to Josh Harris has been on with us, and I talked Prince Sisley. We talked to quite a bit as well. But how many are any of the guys on this team guys that you've known, played with prior to this, have a relationship with?
Well, Tucker, just obviously because at Drake, 3 years together. I know who Reed Bailey is just a little bit because one of my buddies and teammates here, David Skogman, played with him at Davidson. But no, other than that, I actually haven't met any of the dudes. Obviously, I know Leo and Goody are trying to get waivers. Watched them a little bit since I watched Indiana, but no, I actually don't.
And talk about Tucker DeVries, playing with him and getting to do that again. Having done that previously, that has to be very comforting, especially as a point guard. He's a wing, as you're getting the ball to him. But what's it like playing with him? What does he bring to the team?
Yeah, he kind of draws. He has a magnitude to him where he draws a lot of defenders, a lot of attention. It's nice. I know what kind of spots he likes and where he likes the ball and whatnot. And he definitely helps me out too. I think I'm a great catch and shoot 3-point shooter, so he draws a lot of attention and can get me some open shots as well. But he's just he's kind of always in the right spots defensively and offensively, and he can make some big ones.
Now, have you paid attention to the guys that have signed on to the IU team, and anybody stuck out that you know of that they've played, even though you haven't played or known these guys, but I know you've probably done some research, but anybody stuck out, you're like, oh man, I'm looking forward to playing with this guy. I think this will play really well off of what I do.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with it for sure. One guy, just because he's a point guard, is Tatum Conaway. I think we could play really well together. Drake played with multiple guards at times, and I just seen that he loves playing defense. He's a great defender, so I'm excited to do that and play defense with him. But all the guys, that we got, whatever it's 1 through 12 or 11, I'm not even sure right now the number, but I think we all got a big chance to contribute in a big way.
Yeah, it's very enlightening to hear somebody say, "I cannot wait to play defensively with somebody." That will probably be music to fans' ears. But yeah, that is not something you normally hear. Everyone's wanting to go the other way, but defense is the key, man.
Yep.
Defensive teams win a lot. How important is defense to you? Do you take it personally as something, hey, man, this is something I'm going to stop my guy. I've got to work on my guy along with helping out whomever.
Yeah, I think Personally, yes, stopping my guy, but like I feel like when the whole team's locked in on it and playing defense, it just makes the game offensively a lot easier because you can get up and down in transition. But I don't know, something about getting stops together is it's pretty cool when you're doing it as a squad. So I think that's what we could build over this summer, that camaraderie about defense can win some championships.
Absolutely. And how does that lead into the style of offense that Darren DeVries that we expect to see, which we expect to see a lot of shooting, a lot of ball movement, and the ball getting up and down the floor frequently?
Yeah, so obviously, you get stops, that leads to fast breaking. You don't have to set up in the half court. I think we're opportunistic when we run. But yeah, I think the way the roster's been built with a lot of skill, a lot of shooting, I think it'll be a fun floor-spaced offense that we can get a lot of good shots. And I think as long as we all buy into that, I think we'll be a great team offensively as well.
And I know the fan base they're starving for a hungry, winning team that plays with grit and determination and all the things that we've been hearing. It sounds like that the guys that are coming in, like yourself, when you talk about defense first, like I said, that's unusual. It's very refreshing, but you don't usually hear that. And I know the fans are going to eat that up and love that, because they want a team that plays hard. They want a team that they know is playing to win. There's a lot of them. The older fans spoiled the Bob Knight days.
Yeah.
When Indiana was just a juggernaut, and they want to return to that. But it starts and ends with defense, in addition to having good offense. But to hear a player talk like that, I know is very, very refreshing. How important is defense to Coach DeVries?
I think it's very important. I think, just the way that when I was recruited out of high school to Drake, I just kind of realized that. That's why I thought I would fit him. But, like I said before, he's all about toughness. So that's part of the reason that I just completely trusted him being one of those first recruits, because I know he's going to recruit guys that are going to buy into that, be tough, be gritty, and just listen completely to what he has to say. And yeah, I just knew you built a team that would have all those qualities.
When you have a team coming in like this with all new players, virtually, we'll put Anthony and Luke aside right now, but basically all new players. Where does leadership come from? How do you develop the leadership? Who's going to be? Is there a guy, more than one guy? How is that going to work, do you think?
Yeah, so I've seen we've got a decent amount of older guys, which definitely helps. I think it kind of forms just through practice. Some dudes are more leaders just through, I guess, their actions and the way they're playing. Obviously, we'll figure that out when we start playing, and some are more vocal. I know myself and Tucker, obviously, just because I've seen us in person. I'm not sure about the other guys. Can definitely lead. So I think it'll just be opportunistic. There won't be one guy all the time, but I think with all these older guys, different guys can step up, and there'll be definitely a lot of people to look to.
Conor Enright with me right now, the DePaul transfer, a new Hoosier basketball player, one of, like you said, how many are they up to now? 11?
I think 11, maybe 12. I'm not sure.
I've got to go back and get my scorecard out and look and see. But, and looking forward to next season. How have you spoken? I know you guys are on a text chain together, but you probably haven't met all of these guys yet, even on like a Zoom call or anything, have you?
No, I saw Lamar talking on a Twitter thing with someone when he committed. That was the only time I've seen him. But that's just the text chain, and that's about it. I think we're all just waiting to get down there to start hanging out and whatnot.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny. It's like, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. All right, how are you doing? All right, now let's get this thing going.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, is that going to be weird? Because I know that you moved to school once before, right?
Yeah, from Drake to DePaul when Coach DeVries left.
But this is a whole different situation, because when you went to DePaul, it was not a complete rebuild, right?
No, they had a whole new staff, whole new team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the exact
you're
same
used
thing.
to this. Then
yeah.
then that should help you, I would imagine. You're used to going through this before.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, at Drake, my last year, I think we had 10 new guys as well. That last year I was there. Not a whole new staff, but it was similar.
So what's that like, having gone through that? What is the process of, all right, you're meeting and you've got to gel this team together. You're obviously, you start playing in June this time when you come around, but you've done this before. What is the process of getting the team together to be one?
Yeah, on the court, I think you have to be patient. You know, it's obviously not going to look very smooth and awesome chemistry right away in June. So I think it's being patient in that aspect. And then off the court, like my biggest thing I think is you got to hang out as much as you can as a team. Like the more you get to know guys and just like guys on and off the court, the better you're going to play together. So I think the closest teams that I've had in my career, I think those are the teams that were the best playing together. So I think just spending time.
I don't think I've ever had a player come out and say that and talk about that specifically. Talk about because I know that there's always things that are done for that bonding. There's a trip coming up for the basketball team in the fall as well. They're going to go on a trip down to Puerto Rico, I understand. And so that should be fun. And I don't know who all they're going to be playing yet, but just getting away, getting on a place like that. And I think this probably will be something the fans are able to go to as well. So that'll be the kind of an indoctrination. When you came into Assembly Hall, had you been in there before?
Yeah, I went to one game when I was like 16. I can't remember who they played though, but they definitely won. I remember that.
So you've been there as a fan. What was that like?
Yeah, it was really cool. But honestly, when I visited and it was completely empty, I kind of got the chills a little bit more when it was empty. I was like, but at both times it was sweet.
Yeah, I've heard that from a couple of the guys that we've had on so far, that it just, you walk in and it's like, maybe it is being empty. And I've been in there so many times, but it's like, maybe it is when you're empty and you're walking in, it's like, it's kind of daunting.
Yeah, you can like kind of envision too. Like obviously I've been to a game, so I've seen it packed, but you can envision just like the crowd roar, and it's a little intimidating when you're in there when it's empty, but it's exciting because just seeing yourself being able to play there.
Yeah, what do you think about playing in that noise, man?
I think it'd be awesome. I've played in some big loud arenas before, but I think it'll be cool every night. Having those fans cheering for you will be awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot better to have them on your side than the opposite. And
no doubt.
A lot of these the few guys that I have been able to talk to is they're looking forward to everyone seems to be aware. Indiana is a great program with a great tradition. They just haven't been where they want to be for too long and where they should be. But it seems like these guys are committed to trying to turn that around. And I find that kind of positively amazing that they're knowledgeable about that is in their minds.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think the goal every season for every NCAA team is to win a championship. We're going to take it one day, one practice, one game at a time. But I think, acknowledging the fact that Indiana's been an awesome program, and I think we want to be a part of one of those teams that gets to that level too. So I think it's an important goal for all of us.
Yeah, I was reading some. It would be amazing to see, and I know that because we saw this happen unbelievably in football at Indiana a year ago. I'm not sure if you were aware of that, but the football program was a walking corpse. It was one of the worst programs in Division I, and that turnaround was remarkable. And they can get basketball going now. Indiana would just be it would be a buzzing place.
Yeah,
but yeah, and I know that the fans are looking forward to this. They're excited about this team coming in. They're excited about Darren DeVries and all the assistants that have come in. Do you have any familiarity with any of the assistant coaches?
Yes, actually, Coach Drew and Coach Mike Bargan, they were previously at Bradley before some point in their career, so played against them a little bit, beat them up a little bit. Coach Nick Norton as well was with me at Drake. We got some other guys as well that I've known too.
How important is this, at least having somewhat of a relationship with those guys? How much easier does it make to start with the process of the growth of this team?
Oh, it's awesome. It's a familiarity it's and comfortability is not very nice. Going to a new place. And then I think knowing the staff and some of those guys a little bit and can, in drills and in practice can be a demonstration and a leader and show what they want and the standard that needs to be set. So I think it'll be big for the team and for myself as well.
Standards is something that we really learned about again last year under Kurt Signetti. He talked about that a lot, playing to a standard. And I don't know that we had that in basketball for a few years. And so that's obviously very important. But do the players do they adhere to that as in their minds? Say, hey, man, this is the standard. This is where we have to be night in, night out.
Yeah, I think obviously everyone views it to a certain extent differently, but I think so. I think when there's complete buy-in, at the end of the summer, it's different points for different guys, but I think that's what makes a championship level team and then a really good team is when they're like, yeah, I got to play to this every night. So I think that's the goal of getting everyone to play at that level.
Of the guys that are currently on the roster now, who are you most excited to play with as far as being, since you're more of a facilitator, point guard, you're going to be getting the ball out. And I know you already have some familiarity with Tucker DeVries. We know he's a great knockdown shooter and a great wing. Who are some of the other guys that you're really excited to play with? Not that you're not excited to play with all of them. I get that.
Yeah. Obviously, it looks like I don't have a guy on the court who can't shoot a three. So in that sense, everybody. But I'm excited to play with some of the bigs. Josh, Reed, and Sam. They can catch some lobs. This past year, I actually was throwing a lot of lobs. Had a lot of lob threats at DePaul. So if either of those three can get up there, then in that pick and roll, then I'd definitely love to play with them a little bit.
Yeah, the statement you made. Say that again. About the threes.
Oh yeah, pretty much everybody on the team can shoot threes, so I don't really have to.
Well, you don't know when you said that right there, right there. I guarantee you, every listener's ears just pinged because that used to be the case at Indiana, and it just hasn't been for a while. So that is going to be a very refreshing thing for people to see. But they want a team. I can tell you from doing this long enough, they want a team that plays their ass off, that will do the things that they need to do, diving for loose balls, whatever, but can shoot the ball as well, because if you can't shoot the ball, you're not going to do very well. But playing defense and being scrappy, all of those things, and it sounds like and it looks like this is the kind of team that Darren DeVries is putting together to do those exact things.
Yeah, I think so too. Obviously, you're not going to shoot 50+%, 40+% from three every night. So you got to have other things like defense and getting offensive rebounds and stuff like that to make up for when you don't shoot it as good. So I think we're going to be a very well-rounded team.
And the goal obviously is to win
Yes.
and to set high standards when you come in. The Big Ten, not an easy place to win. And you've got teams like Purdue and Michigan specifically who kind of just had to reload a little bit. They were set and they just needed to add some pieces, and they did. Purdue is being picked by many to be the number one preseason team in the country next year. Michigan, I think Michigan will be just as good than Purdue. Illinois, Brad Underwood always pulls magic out of his hat. He just landed Stojakovic. So it's always going to be a fun battles in the Big Ten. How forward are you looking to playing all those teams, playing against Tom Izzo and people like that?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I've grown up watching Big Ten basketball. I keep up with it now. I got a lot of family members too that went to different select Big Ten schools that were not Indiana, so I got to talk some smack to them. But a lot of great coaches, a lot of great players. I'm excited for the challenge of it being hard every night. There's no off nights in the Big Ten. I just wish we could play everybody twice. So I know that'd be like whatever 30-something games, but that's the only thing. But yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, it is. With 18 teams, the schedule is a little wonky. You play a certain set of them on the road, certain set of them at home, and then only 3 teams do you play home and home. Purdue, one of those teams. Michigan State, the other, however, you do get Sparty up in East Lansing, and then I forget who the other one was, like
Minnesota
or some Minnesota.
Yep.
There you go. Look at you already got the schedule.
I got it in my head.
So have you already been looking at the teams, doing a little scouting for yourself?
Yeah, I've been keeping track of the transfer portal and who goes to where, just whether it's because of friends or obviously Big Ten, seeing who I'm playing against. So yeah, I've been keeping track a little bit.
What any teams standing out to you?
The ones you said are, they're going to be really strong. I don't think there's going to be any really weak teams in the Big Ten. Yeah, but no, nothing. I mean, the ones that my cousins are fans of are standing out to me the most, I guess, because they're talking the most smack. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, and so what are you looking forward to most about getting started, getting here in June?
Just the grind of the summer. It'll be my last year, just appreciating summer a little more. Summer's tough. Workouts, camps, hard lifts, conditioning, but just like meeting the team, I guess, and getting to know the guys. Hopefully we can get pretty close, have some fun this summer, and get better as a team, and then take it to the next level when we start in the fall.
I don't want to blow smoke, but you're sounding a lot like a leader to me, because you're wanting to do the greasy, dirty, grimy stuff that you keep talking about, playing defense, getting through these summer workouts, which are brutal, which are no fun whatsoever. That's the hardest thing, is going through that stuff. You're like, bring the season on, please.
Yeah.
The season is a breeze compared to what you do leading up to it. It's just like I remember in football. It's like, man, can we get through this stuff and get to the games? Because that's when it becomes easy. Normal practice is a lot easier than what you're going to be going through this summer. But you're talking about embracing all of the harder parts of it, which leads you to the success that you're trying to get. So very leadership quality sounding like there, man.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I think it's just like, since I've had winning seasons before with Drake, and it's just like, you look back at those seasons you won, like you did a lot of hard stuff that sucked and you hated it. But look back, and that's probably why we won games that, we were down in, or we weren't playing great, or, we're tired and we're gassed. So I just think it's, I don't know, like obviously no one wants to have to know that you're going through all that hard stuff, but you do it and you're better for it. So I don't know. I think that's my view on it. And then being my last year, got to appreciate the summer.
Man, I think you're going to be a fan favorite. I really do. I just your attitude, you're just seriously, it comes through. It is very palpable. I mean that because
thank you.
I've talked to a lot of different people. A lot of them are just shy or whatever, and stuff.
Yeah.
You're very comfortable doing this. You're very comfortable talking, but you're also very enlightened in the things that you're saying. So. Hey, that's just those are the things that go into making a leader. I'm just saying, man, just throwing it out there.
I like to hear it.
Hey, it breeds itself, and I hope that we'll maybe try to get you on one more time before you get locked down in June, because you've been so good. We'll try to do this again, but come June, you guys are on lockdown. I can't. Reach out to you.
I got you.
But man, it has been an absolute pleasure, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you taking the time and how much fun it was getting to talk to you today.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, anytime. It was awesome just talking ball. So it was a good time for me, and I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Who's the Big Ten teams that you're looking at getting after?
Oh,
Purdue.
Obviously Purdue.
How did you learn so quickly that boom, that's the one, boom? Because all these guys are new. No one really knows. You just seem to be a little bit more knowledgeable about what's going on.
Yeah, I think maybe the first semester my brother came home from college in whatever 2020.
Oh yeah, I forgot
something
your
or
brother
20.
was here.
Yeah, he came home and he's like, I hate Purdue, and I'm like, all right, well, that makes sense. And one of my closest friends, she played soccer at Purdue, so I've been talking smack to her too now that I'm going to Indiana. So yeah, just understand the rivalry.
Well, good deal, man. Conor Enright, I cannot thank you enough, brother. You are great, and I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you. You have a good one.
Thank you, sir. Conor Enright joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. What a fun time that was. Man, he is a very, very intelligent sounding, smart, well-spoken man. Hey, we've got lots more coming up from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios, and we're back with it on the other side right after this.
Know a team or group needing a fundraiser? Boost Fundraising raises more money faster and offers the most unique and user-friendly online fundraiser in the nation. Your team receives personalized fundraising pages for each team member. Free team-branded promo gifts shipped to each donor. Boost Fundraising does it all. Sports teams, marching bands, charity causes, and community groups. Go to boostfundraising.com and be sure to enter the promo code COYLE, that's C-O-Y-L-E, to receive a discounted fundraiser. Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth Sour Mash Bourbons, Sweet Mash, and Hard Road Rye, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular Toasted Coconut Rum. Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Monday. Glad to have you back. Man, I'm ready for it to warm up, people. I am so tired of freezing, and I have not been able to get warm for days, it seems like. Man, what a fun time that was. Telling you, Conor, very, very well-spoken young man. Loved what he had to say and how he handled himself there. He's just seems straight up, man. He likes it. He likes to get in there and deal with all the stuff that you don't want to. Gotta like that. Indiana also getting good news as Derek Owings, the strength coach for the football team. USC wanted him. They wanted him badly. But Indiana able to hold on. That is another sign of commitment by Indiana, the Indiana administration, to the football program. First reported by ESPN's Pete Thamel. He agreed to a 3-year deal that includes a big pay raise to keep him here. So, man, Indiana is taking football seriously. And that is just another example of that. So they've lost one guy so far, and that was Tino Sungery for UCLA. But retaining both coordinators, Mike Shanahan and Brian Haynes, and Bob Bostad, Pat Kuntz, it's huge for this program, because that could really disrupt what they had going on. And the ability that they not only were able to do it, but did it, shows a commitment to the program. So congratulations, as that will continue to move forward. Yeah, I mentioned a little bit about Anthony Leal apparently looking for a 6th season of eligibility. Has applied for a waiver for the following season. That is, sources confirmed to thehoosier.com. He's played 5 seasons at Indiana, including receiving a COVID year, which he played with this season. Across those 5 seasons, he made 95 appearances, but he never played more than 26 games in a season and has played 20 or less games in 2 seasons.
The 22-23 season saw Leo make just 11 appearances and just 24 total minutes. This has nothing to do with Anthony. He's a great guy. Great kid, and would probably add not so much playing time, but add some, and not necessarily some leadership, but some ties here. But at the same time, I am just, where does it end? Where does it end? I mean, because you didn't play as many games as you could have when you were a freshman or a sophomore because you weren't good enough. I mean, what happened to the rules, people? What happened to the rules? It's and I get it. It would be financially a financial boon for him. So I don't know. Luke Goody also, his situation is he played the games at the end of the season. So we're not sure that he's going to get in or not. But they have so many guys at those positions. You're like, okay, well, what do you do there? So who knows? We'll have to wait and find out how that goes. But it would give him another body. But other than that, I just don't know that there's enough. He was a really good defender, but they've got so many guys in those positions. I mean, I don't know. It was a little bit of a surprise, but if you can get it. I don't blame him. He must have had conversations with Darren DeVries to do this, because I don't think he would be trying to go anywhere else. We've got lots more coming up from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios. Dustin Dopirak will join us. We're back with it and more after these messages.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth's sour mash bourbons, sweet mash, and hard road ryes, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular toasted coconut rum. Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive. When it comes to apparel and promotions, Freethink has you covered, literally, whether it's 24 or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. Freethink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. Freethink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what Freethink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Monday. Glad to have you along for the ride. Just finished up a fun little chat with Conor Enright, man. He's kind of impressive. He's got his mind locked in. He's thinking about defense, thinking about all kinds of things that I just was a little impressed with the way he came across. And having conversations with a lot of other guys. Like I said, he wasn't nervous. He was just relaxed. Gives you kind of an indication that that's the kind of individual he is. That's the personality he is or has. Very relaxed. And if you have a relaxed personality, man, that allows you to make better decisions. That allows you to remain relaxed in intense, tight situations. That's who you want at point guard. I'll tell you that. Decision makers that make good decisions. So I cannot wait to see how this team performs. It's going to be a fun time to watch this. Indiana signee Trent Sisley has been playing in the ball this past weekend, played in the Balls Is Life All-American game on Saturday night in Long Beach, California. That 2-day event included a 3-on-3 tournament featuring both boys and girls rosters, but he's still honing his skills, man, out doing everything he can, playing in various events, games that he can play in. Went down to Montverde, played against those guys all season long. He has been preparing as much and as well as one can. He took his senior year to a place of great elevation by going to Montverde. Now he's playing in these other events before he has to come to Bloomington in June. So, he's taking all of this stuff. There's no summer. These guys don't have a summer, and they won't have a summer for now on while they're here. I know that sounds, like, oh, it's no big deal. Yeah, you basically give up your summers, man. And his little bit of time he has left before he arrives in June. He's got like a month left, so he'll have to get done. This is his summer right here coming up, the month of May, and for the rest of them as well. So congratulations for him. I hope he had a good time out there. And Cali, I think his pops was out there with him, Matt, out there in Long Beach. So had to be fun. But man, he's been traveling around. And then, of course, Indiana having all of the rest of these guys come in. Where did it go? David said, oh, dang it. Wrong one. Why do these things move so much when I go to hit on them? David was asking a question about COVID, and I lost it. So here we go. If you had an extra COVID year and a medical redshirt year, you shouldn't get another year. Also, I think medical redshirt should be determined into the season, so no confusion. Well, the thing is, there's been so many lawsuits filed against the NCAA, I think partly because they don't always do everything the same way. But I just don't see how, after playing 5 years, and again, this is nothing against Anthony. I wish him the best. Hopefully he gets it. But I just don't know that just because you didn't play enough, you should have to take the redshirt season then, at least. At the very least. But I it's not for me to worry about, and it's not for me to judge. It'll come out. Dustin Dopirak from the Indy Star, Pacers beat writer, joining us now. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I guess I'm up and standing. It's another day, another city, but yeah, no. Obviously. Coming off of another interesting, Pacers win last night. Got to
interesting to say the least.
Yes, for sure. No, I mean, obviously not turning the tables around. That's a weird way to put it, but I mean, this is the first time they've won a game one on the road in any of these playoff series that they've had over the last 2 years. And just remarkable performance. Obviously, 19 3-pointers. Certainly sets them up nicely, but showed, I think, a lot of mettle. Basically. It's not easy to go into Cleveland where it gets, pretty loud, pretty raucous against a team that's 64-18. They went 64-18 this year to go into their place and be able to beat them and withstand one of the runs that they had in the third quarter. Just shows sometimes signs of how far this team has come, basically, and the product of its experience over the last 2 years. Even to hear Donovan Mitchell say, this is a team that's been there before, and you realize, hey, the Pacers actually have been there before, and this Cavs team hasn't been as far as this Pacers team has, and you can see the difference there. Basically, that this Pacers group is further along. But yeah, no, obviously, really important win to get started to kind of steal home court advantage. Twist it around so it's working for them. After just one game to come in here and be able to get that first one. So, you don't even need game 2 necessarily to go back to Indiana with home court advantage in the series is a really big deal.
So you're up in Cleveland for another day, right?
Yeah. I'm not going back and coming back.
Brad says you got to check out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, baby.
Mm-hmm. I could try. My parents actually came up. They're, my family from Pittsburgh, so I got to go see them. I'm on radio all day. Also, I don't think I go off the radio.
You're the man. You are so in demand.
It's not me. I mean, I don't think I'm.
Yes, you.
We're wait, the Pacers play basketball. Is that correct? And there's a team in Indianapolis.
There's shots, huh?
Yeah, but there's, just obviously, a pretty significant story. For them to, it's.
It was a statement, dude. It was a statement. And it looked, but more importantly, watching it looked like a statement. They were playing with that confidence. They were playing to win the whole time. And Cleveland was chasing their tail there at the end. And man, the Pacers, it was very impressive that they stayed strong through the end of that win and just would not allow Cleveland to get back in just, they kept them just at bay.
Sure.
And wow, some shots, and it was coming from everybody. So many different guys hit shots, made defensive plays or whatever. It was something different by somebody different. It wasn't just Tyrese. It was so many different guys that were, I was like, boom. I forget who hit that long 3-pointer.
Nemhard.
My God, that thing was from outside of Cleveland in Solon, Ohio.
Now he had 2 30-footers. It was obviously a big night for the guys that I just call the good soldiers, more or less. Andrew Nemhard and Aaron Nesmith. It's easy to not lose sight of, but they're easy to kind of to look over the course of the year, especially because 2 of the guys behind them are Ben Mathurin and Jarris Walker, who are kind of shiny objects as guys that were lottery picks. Nemhard was a second rounder, first pick of the second round behind in the same draft. They took Mathurin. Nesmith was throwing is maybe overstating it, but a guy they just picked up as part of the find a way to move on from Malcolm Brogdon deal. But those guys have been just so reliable for them on both ends of the floor. They've been defending the best 2 perimeter players as long as they've been out there, since they got them in 2022. And they don't make a lot of noise. They're pretty quiet dudes. Obviously they, you see them just yell on the floor, Nesmith especially. But they're guys that don't, that don't attract a lot of attention. But they have just come through over and over and over again for this group. And I think you're seeing both of them just take it up a notch in these playoffs so far. And they were combined, I think, 9 of 12 from 3. And those are massive, massive shots. But there's, if you've been watching this team closely, just how much they mean to those guys. A big reason why they weren't very good in November and early December is Nemhard was out with knee tendonitis, Nesmith sprained an ankle. Those guys are really the connective tissue with this team. They make everything work. And so I think it was certainly a big deal for those guys to have a big game on this stage. But they had, they've had a terrific playoff so far. They were both shooting at or above 50% from 3 in the first round against the Bucks. And so they've been knocking down shots, bringing good defense. Nemhard in particular has been just a defensive ace all year. And it's, so it was obviously important for those guys. So I think when those 2 stand out, it is infectious, but also when those 2 stand out, people outside are like, well, who are those guys? But if you're watching them closely, just how big of a deal they've been for that group. And then I thought Ben Mathurin, also, who is, kind of stuck behind them, also stepped up big, 3 big 3-pointers. really one of the most important ones, I thought. Basically the Cavs fell behind 4 on this kind of just acrobatic spinning floater by Donovan Mitchell, who, his numbers don't look great, but I mean, some of the plays he made were incredible. But the Pacers managed to answer that. Mathurin hits a 3 right after that in the corner. And he's had to get better at being a catch and shoot 3-point guy. He had a terrible first series shooting the ball. Didn't close very well as far as shooting the ball was concerned, but huge shot there. Played some good defense. Had a massive block on Jared Allen. There's probably a foul. He did stick his hand in Allen's chest, but he got away with it. And the Cavs got away with some stuff against the Pacers, so it was what it was. But I mean, just those 2 plays were also critical down the stretch. And you had big shots from Halliburton as well. And so they got all those pieces to come together, spread the wealth basically. But that's kind of who they've been all year. Not all year, all the last 3 years since they've had Halliburton on the team. It's been well distributed points, shots, etc. And that's kind of how they play. That's what allows them to play that fast and not really wear down the Cavs. And they, acknowledge that they did not handle the pace very well. And so making that kind of statement, but also establishing just how tough the pace is to keep up with is a big deal coming out of game 1.
Yeah, offensively, they're known as one of the greatest offensive teams in the league. And they showed that last night. It was on display. But they were also playing some defense, grabbing timely rebounds and timely offensive rebounds at times. So they were
They had one timely offensive rebound. The Cavs had a lot of this was a game for as long as it was because the Cavs were one on the boards as far as offensive boards were concerned. And so, but there was one big one by Miles Turner. I think it was a big putback in kind of the fourth quarter stretch where they had an answer. The Cavs were really dominant there. I mean, and that is the biggest problem. And if you come out of this and you're the Pacers, you're thinking, okay, the 2 areas where you're like, all right, well, this is a problem. We were lucky this didn't become a bigger problem. They got beat 70-38 in the paint. 70 is a massive number to give up in the paint at any time. I mean, obviously that's more than some teams score in a college game. That's how many they scored around the rim, and they were able to get a lot of layups. Donovan Mitchell was able to get the rim at will. They were fortunate. He was 1 of 11 from 3, missed a lot of shots that he frequently makes. They could not stop Evan Mobley at all. Mobley was dominant on the glass. He was fantastic, and they were able to turn a lot of those. I mean, the Cavs won second chance 21-4. And rarely do you win a game that you lose in the paint 70-38 and you lose on second chance 21-4. I mean, that's dominant, but 19 threes to 9 is a big enough gap as far as that's concerned to be able to win it. So, I mean, the Pacers do come out of this looking and saying, okay, like we can't presume a 30-point difference as far as what happens beyond the arc again. You cannot presume that you win a game when you give up 70 in the lane. So things got to change, and they have to be proud of themselves, but they also have to know that you're not going to win a lot of games that way. And they got beat on turnovers. I mean, the Pacers almost always win the turnover battle. That's the area they've probably been the best. If you look at, what's the number that's the difference for them all year? What did they do so much better than everybody else? They limited turnovers and they created them. And this time they lost that. And that was rare. So, I mean, there was a bunch of those numbers they look at and say, fortunate to get away with one because of the shots that they made.
Yeah. I understand the paint disparity. That's almost mind boggling.
It's massive. I couldn't even believe it.
I don't know that I've ever heard of anything that big.
Was
part of it because how prolific they were being from behind the arc.
Sure. Oh yeah. Well, of course. I mean, they like the Pacers not the Pacers. The Pacers were an okay shooting team this year. And so there a lot of cases, teams are willing to pack the paint and just keep them from getting layups and say, okay, I'll live with you guys shooting threes and say, all right, you guys aren't going to kill me from there. I mean, Nembhard is really remarkable. And I just, did a story just on him Saturday, just how much he dials it up in the playoffs and he finds ways of getting better in playoff games. But the shooting disparity for him in postseason is nuts. It's absolutely crazy in terms of how much better a 3-point shooter he's been in the playoffs. Really, the last 2 years. I mean, he was an excellent last year, but he's shooting, I think, 57% from 3. He was at 29% from the year. In 6 playoff games, he's hit 3 3-pointers 4 times, at least 3 threes 4 times. He never made 3 3-pointers in a game in the regular season, not once. And he had more games when he hit 0 threes in the regular season than when he hit 2. So this is dramatically different. I mean, he's always been capable of hitting big threes from time to time. He's got the ability to shoot from distance. And, you know, it's not a weak point. It's just something he's just been okay at. But he really didn't close well shooting the ball at all. I mean, over the last 3 games of the season, he was 3 of 23 from the floor. Over the last 5 games, he was 1 of 15 from 3. He had 4 games in a row where he did not make one. And so it just seemed off, seemed tired. I mean, which you can understand because he's asked to pick up the best player on the opposite team 94 feet every single game. At some point that gets in your legs. And I think that was a product of that. But the extent to which he's locked in and hit shots is incredible, and some deep ones. And, you know, basically, I mean, before, you know, he hits the 2 30-footers, you know, last night, game 5, he probably hit the biggest shot, basically. I mean, they're down 7 with 40 seconds to go, and he steps into a 3 right in front of the logo. And, you know, they're dead if he doesn't hit that. It's over. You know, they've got no shot if they don't hit that shot right then. And then he goes out and steals the inbound pass, and that tees up Halliburton to get his and one, and then his game-winning layup. If Nembhard doesn't make those plays, it's a moot point. So it's dramatic how much better of a shooter he's been. You know, like just the numbers are mind-boggling. Just playoffs, you know, came about, and he flipped a switch. Again, I do think the rest that comes with the playoffs has been helpful. You know, you get a week off in between, you know, the regular season and the playoffs where you watch, you know, the play-in round. And then, you know, they've obviously had, you know, three days basically to recover. They had a couple, you know, 2 days off deals during the Milwaukee series. So that's, I think, been really helpful for a bunch of the guys that had been taxed over the course of the regular season with the speed and the pace these Pacers play at. But Nembhard in particular has been a different shooter since postseason came around.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up the highest 3-point shooting percentages in an NBA playoff game. 53% is pretty stinking high, man.
It's pretty
when
good.
You
it's
put up 36 attempts.
Sure. No, well, I mean, you got to remember last year, game 7 against the Knicks, they broke all kinds of records shooting wise. And I can't remember if 3-point shooting was one of them, but I'm going to call it up while I'm sitting here to be like, okay, when, you know,
but yeah, they're not good. You can't count on them to make 53% of their 3-point shots, especially now. And was the Cavs, they go 24% on 9 of 38. How much of that was Cavaliers bad shooting and how much was it defense?
Some of it was defense. Some of it was missing open shots. I think Mitchell was an interesting thing because, I mean, he looked like he just looked hurt, basically. I mean,
they were 5 of 20 on open 3-point attempts.
Yeah, I mean, they had some very clean looking ones. Donovan Mitchell, you know, had a lot that he usually hits. He's 1 of 11. I mean, he was inefficient for 33. I was blown away by some of the shots he made, you know, getting into the lane, but just didn't seem to have the legs on the shot. And then a couple of the guys that usually hit open threes for them, Sam Merrill, Max Strus, you know, those guys were combined 4 of 13, I think. Evan Mobley was just okay. And they, you know, usually you seem better. Evan Mobley wasn't just okay overall. Evan Mobley was great, but he was, you know, I think 2 of 5 shooting the ball, and they didn't get anybody else. I mean, usually, you know, they have somebody else, and Darius Garland being out made a difference as well. You know, he was ruled out right before game time with a toe sprain that he's been dealing with, missed a couple games in the Miami series, and that all made a difference. But no, I think if you're the Pacers, you can't presume you're making 19 threes, and you can't presume that the Cavs are going 9 of 38 next time. Cavs finished second in the league in both made threes and 3-point percentage for the regular season. So you absolutely cannot presume that stat is going to go your way for the whole series, but it makes a difference that it went your way in game 1.
And it's winning game 1's huge, especially when it's on the road.
Sure.
You've obviously set a tone, but, you know, did you also wake up the dragon, you know, and because they're not going to just lay over,
Sure.
But you have another shot tonight, Adam, and
tomorrow night. Yeah.
Or tomorrow night rather. And I hate to, you know, let's say that let's get crazy and say the Pacers go back to back and win. Whew,
that series would be in grave doubt for Cleveland, which I don't expect them to win back-to-back road games. I'll be honest with you, against a team of this caliber. But hey, it's not like it can't happen. It just did happen.
Sure. No, you get one, and I mean, you get one, and it's a big deal. I mean, you've created doubt in their heads. I think,
like playing with house money now.
Sure. No, I mean, I agree. There are certain people that look at it and say, well, they made it to the conference finals last year. They should be doing this, but I wouldn't go that far. But no, I mean, you also think about the situation that Cleveland's in, you know, as a team. This is their second best record they've ever had. And, you know, it's by far the best season they've had without LeBron James, you know, and they've, you know, basically this group, I mean, they were on one hand, they had the same postseason that the Pacers did last year, which is to say they won until they got to Boston. But they caught Boston one, you know, series earlier than the Pacers did, basically because they were the 4th seed, the Pacers were the 6th. Cleveland managed to beat the Magic in 7 games in a grind series in that one, and they actually took a game off the Celtics. And so, you know, on one hand, you could say, all right, well, really, what was the difference between what Cleveland did and what the Pacers did? Pacers, you know, made it to an Eastern Conference Finals, so they don't, you know, like. There is a little bit of nouveau riche to this. They're obviously first-year head coach, you know, not first-year head coach, but first-year head coach for them, and Kenny Atkinson. And, you know, they had just a spectacular season. They rip off 15 wins to start the year. You know, it's been magic, but I think sometimes when you have one of those magic seasons where it seems like you can't lose, you go in the postseason and one thing goes wrong and you're like, whoa, uh-oh. You know, I mean, they played a Heat team that they were just dramatically better than they won the last 2 games of that series by 92 points. Like, that's insane. And so, you know, like it's you can tighten up. I mean, like that, I think is a thing that you could see happen where certain teams, they have one of these special seasons where everything goes right. And then all of a sudden a bad thing happens in the playoffs and you're like, wait a minute. And so your confidence can be shaken and you can be like, wait a minute, maybe we've run into our kryptonite. And the extent to which they were talking about how they didn't handle the pace well, I thought was really noticeable. That it's like, all right, wait, did we just happen to stumble into the team that we can't beat? And they didn't play. A thing you got to remember is they played 4 times in the regular season, but because they're division opponents, but almost none of those games made a lot of sense in terms of what the postseason looks like. The last 2 games of the year, the Cavs, they played twice in the last week. Cavs had already clinched, you know, home court, so they didn't play anybody in either one of those games. You know, any of their important players. And you know, in the first 2 games, Halliburton got hurt halftime of the first game, or not in halftime, but was removed at halftime of the first one. And then, you know, the Cavs the Pacers came back and won that game, and that was pretty crazy. But then the Cavs stomped them when Halliburton missed the next one. So they're playing a team they really haven't seen, you know, this year with this group as currently constituted. And like they haven't lost consecutive home games all year. They had 3 kind of segments where they lost consecutive games anywhere. They had a 4-game losing streak, a 3-game losing streak, and a 2-game losing streak, and that's it. So they don't lose. And so you can create doubt in a team that's not used to it. You know, the Pacers have been up and down. The Pacers have gone through stretches where they had to dig themselves out of it. They're in a way battle tested by defeat, where the Cavs are not. You know, the Cavs are like, wait a minute, we haven't lost all year. What's this like to be behind? And to start behind at home is something that can shake them up. I mean, it can wake the dragon, and they can, you know, on top of that, what's the word I'm looking for? How can I best put this? You know, like they're even more aware that now, okay, really, this is a team that can beat you. And so, but that can go either way. They can be shaken by that as well as they can, you know, turn that into motivation and, you know, rip off 4 wins in a row.
There must be something in the water of Indianapolis, man, because while the Pacers were shooting lights out in Cleveland, a former Pacer had the game of his life, Buddy Hield.
That's got nothing to do with Indianapolis water. That's Buddy Hield, man.
Man,
put Buddy Hield in
3-pointers.
Yeah.
Or game 7, 3-point record. 9, I think. What he was at 9? Did he hit
9? He hit 9
in game 7. Game 7. It's a game 7 record. So, man, it's spreading throughout, baby.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously the Pacers can't claim credit for that because they did trade him and for not much. Yeah, no, I mean, but it was cool. I mean, I after obviously Tyrese Halliburton and Buddy were really close. They were traded together from Sacramento. So while we kind of had tabs on the box score while we were sitting there, and because I was looking at Twitter and just everybody was talking about Buddy Hield, and Buddy had 13 midway through the second quarter while Tyrese was at the podium, and as soon as he got done talking, I'm like, hey Ty, Buddy's got 13 out of the Warriors 33. He's like, yeah, Buddy, go get it, and he kept going off. I mean, like obviously the Rockets really wanted to take Steph Curry away, which you would. It took Steph a while to get going, but Buddy kept making threes. Buddy just kept ripping them, and I saw him. Had a steal and a dunk, and I think he had a three that was kind of a dagger. He was plus 17. He was remarkable. I mean, he's had some struggles in that series, so it was kind of cool to see him make a difference. And Buddy's hysterical. He's a crazy person, and so everything he does is just bizarre and off his rocker. But I saw he has developed this like routine with Jimmy Butler where he just antagonizes Jimmy, and it's like kind of a joke, and Jimmy just tells him to get off of him and shut up and whatever. And it's, like Buddy makes a point out of comically annoying him, and Jimmy plays off of it well. I think he was, like Buddy kind of stayed on the podium for a little while for Jimmy's press conference and was like, Jimmy Butler, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Butler. And he's made this thing where, because Jimmy Butler said that he is Robin to Steph's Batman. And then Buddy joked that like he's Alfred, but there's a thing where Alfred is Butler. So like, and Buddy was sitting off camera behind, the podium, was like, Jimmy, tell me you're not Robin anymore. Tell me you're not Robin anymore. You're Alfred. Alfred's a butler. And it was like he just would not shut up. And Jimmy's trying to conduct a press conference. Buddy, stop. And so I thought that was hilarious to see that from a distance, because I mean that's kind of how he's woven into the Warriors culture, and they love him over there. And so Buddy was a joy to cover. He was hysterical. He was just an absolute hilarious dude. And so, but everybody in Indiana was happy to see that. And everybody knows, I mean, Buddy's a shooter from wherever he's at. I mean, he's top 40 3-pointers in NBA history. He's probably, by the time he's done, he'll probably be top 20 when he just still has a lot of ranks to move up, but he will. I mean, he's been a remarkable shooter and a trustworthy guy for all that time. And it's cool to see it on for guys to, just a likable guy. It was cool to see him do it on a good, cool, on a really big stage. I mean, I only got to watch the game so much just because I was writing and stuff, but like just massive shots at a massive time to get Golden State to move on in that series.
And now we've got Trace Jackson-Davis, former Hoosier, moving on with Golden State as they move to the next level. And then, of course, tonight you've got the Celtics and the Knicks with OG Anunoby trying to do the unthinkable and knock off the Celtics as that series gets underway this evening to see if Indiana gets past this. Is it a rematch of next year? But we've got a lot of games to play before that.
Sure. No, for sure. I mean, that's going to be a tough series. Boston's terrific. That's not undoable. The Knicks are good. I mean, the Knicks have, that. I mean, certainly I think Tom Thibodeau overplays his starters. I think everybody in the league does, but all the same, the guys that they rely on, the guys that they lean on are absolute warriors, from Brunson to Hart to Bridges to Anunoby, and to a lesser extent Karl Anthony Towns, but in terms of the minutes, but he's just a remarkable player. That is a tough starting five, and so that gives the Knicks a chance. I mean, I think the Celtics have too much depth. I think their ability to shoot the three as well as they do is probably too much. And Tatum, I think at the end of the day, is the best player in that series. And Jaylen Brown, just fits postseason basketball remarkably well. So I think, between those guys, I think the Celtics ultimately get that done. But I mean, you can't, certainly can't put it past the Knicks to pull that off. And OG certainly fits. He's just been a fantastic addition since they got him. The Knicks got him last year from Toronto. Fits Thibodeau's style very well. He's just come so far as an offensive player, and obviously always had the tools to be a great defender. He's top 10, annual top 10 defender in the league, and probably top 5 or 6 as far as perimeter guys is concerned, and ability to defend multiple positions and that sort of thing. OG is incredible. So that is going to be a fun series. And I think Boston ends up winning it, but the Knicks have a chance. You cannot rule those guys out. That was a seriously tough group of guys.
Well, it gets underway tonight, and then of course the Pacers back underway. It was said tomorrow.
Yes.
So the Pacers are back underway. Can they do the unthinkable and steal 2 on the road? It'll be very, very, very difficult. But hey, that's why they play the games, baby. They play. Man, I just cannot believe the swagger they had. It was on full display last night. Just not punky, not just their play. They just had the swagger about how they were playing. It seemed to me.
Yeah, no, they do. I mean, again, they know they can win. They have been there before. Like you're seeing the product of them being a team that's been to an Eastern Conference Finals. You're seeing the product of them be a team that has found a way to pull out close games, that has withstood runs. I mean, there are a lot of situations over the past 2 years they've been in. It's still a young team. It's still a bunch of guys, obviously, that have the youth and the legs to keep up the pace they play at. But it's a team that's been around enough to be able to pull things like this off. And it just again, trust themselves. So yeah, they have swagger that they have earned over the course of just going through battle over the last 2 seasons, and being in position by tough position out of tough position and find a way to win basketball games.
Hit that like button, people. Dustin Dopirak with us, Indy Stars Pacers beat writer. We've got more coming up to talk about. We'll catch up on the rest of the sports world. Thanks a lot for being with us. We're back with more from the Hard Truth Distilling Company's studios right after this break.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
Know a team or group needing a fundraiser? Boost Fundraising raises more money faster and offers the most unique and user-friendly online fundraiser in the nation. Your team receives personalized fundraising pages for each team member. Free team-branded promo gifts shipped to each donor. Boost Fundraising does it all. Sports teams, marching bands, charity causes, and community groups. Go to boostfundraising.com and be sure to enter the promo code COYLE, that's COYLE, to receive a discounted fundraiser. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. When it comes to apparel and promotions, Freethink has you covered, literally, whether it's 24 or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. Freethink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. Freethink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what Freethink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Monday. Man, could use a little coffee with some Hard Truth bourbon cream in there, man. That would be a great, a little starter, a little
Monday
starter.
morning.
I just, for those of you that don't have to go out or go anywhere.
If you're retired, if you're retired, that sounds fun.
A little something. We'll spice it up a little.
Add something, but it is the rest of you. It's Monday morning.
Yeah, trust me, it's Monday all day too. It does not stop. It keeps on rolling. Let's see. Rick Pitino is going to face Kentucky for the first time as a coach.
Well, no, it's not true. He
No,
was at Louisville. It was at Louisville. He's
first time at St. John's.
Yeah, first time at St. John's. He'll face they're taking UCLA's place in the CBS Sports Classic, but that'll be he's taking on his former player Mark Pope. That's when they won a national championship. So
that was an interesting power move to move UCLA out of the Champions Classic.
Well, I don't know how did they get moved out or.
Well, I think they had to take one of them out for Ohio, because Ohio State's still in it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, I think they had to take a Big Ten team out, so that they weren't.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't cross.
Why would you not take Ohio State out? Yeah. Wow.
I'm surprised at that. I don't know. I mean, UCLA has decided it wanted to.
UCLA is not your prototypical Big Ten team.
No, but
probably does not get the audience that they would like to have from a Big Ten Midwest market.
Sure. I mean, but UCLA is UCLA. I mean, I imagine that it was certainly, obviously, it makes a difference with the teams. I mean, somebody, maybe they were like, UCLA, do you want to keep doing this? And they were like, nah, don't, don't love the idea of getting crushed by Carolina and Kentucky every year or whatever. I don't know. I mean, no idea what their motivation might have been. I mean, I haven't been following that enough to know, but, the point of that was to get, champions, to get teams that have won a bunch of them. And, obviously Indiana had a shot at that, and that Tom Crean, I think, pointed out a few times, but that it lined up against the Crossroads Classic, which is part of the reason they got out of that deal in the first place. It felt like it was a lost opportunity. That thing was fun.
Be Indiana right there.
That was a blast. Crossroads was.
Yeah, but it's
fun.
Really?
No, I mean, yeah. Oh yeah. No, I loved it. Now that part, partly because that was when, I enjoyed I enjoyed having time in Indy when I was living in Bloomington.
Right.
So,
yeah, I get it.
But yeah, so yeah, no, I think, and that was fun, and I get it. And they were they were committed to that. And so, it was either the same weekend or was the weekend before. And, it was a time where they had to slip that thing in. But, UCLA makes more sense from the purpose of the thing. But having Pitino in it, if he's going to, have to play Kentucky every year, is cool. And how long is that going to be? And obviously, again, St. John's does not fit the bill. The St. John's, as far as I know, thinking back in my distant history, I don't think has ever won a championship. Correct? They don't have one like the 40s or something like that.
Maybe they're just a 1-year replacement.
I mean, maybe, who knows? But I mean, I think they're. They have won the Big East. They've been in the Final Four. All those kinds.
And the thing, you can't. Indiana, they can't really.
Yeah, you
have
can't.
A series scheduled with Kentucky, so that would screw that up.
They're also a Big Ten team, and so yeah, that's one of the things that comes around with these mega conferences, is that all of a sudden there are conflicts in this regard that didn't used to be there. You have teams that used to be,
but they've got to boot Ohio State out. Ohio State is not even close to being an upper level
still there.
Big Ten
still
team.
There. Sure. No, if somebody, they signed on for the contract at the end of the day, they get the advantage of having been in there at the time. And certainly that started when, they were in the midst of a pretty big wave as far as, Thad Matta was concerned, before it ended, poorly for Thad. This was, I think we're talking like Jared Sullinger times was, about when they got into this thing, when it got rolling. So, they were in a place where they made a lot of sense at that time. This was a time when Ohio State was turning out some really good, top of the Big Ten, caliber teams, Aaron Kraft years, stuff like that. So, they earned the right to be in at the time. They've certainly faded, since time has gone on. But, they're Ohio State. They're a massive, massive athletic department. And if they don't want to leave, it's hard to get them out. And you generally, I feel like making Ohio State mad as a department is probably not your best, course of action in most cases.
I've heard they've got a pretty decent football program.
They're okay. I think they play pretty well at that sport. I'm trying to think of something else random they're good at off the top of my head, and I don't have one. But they're good at they are good at a lot of things. I mean, there is other stuff they're good at that I'm just not thinking of right now. But yeah, so generally, it's not a department you want to mess with. I mean, I have no idea why UCLA got moved out. It's again certainly possible. They were like, we're good. We don't need this. We travel to the Eastern time zone enough times. We don't need one more. To go to Atlanta. We've had enough. So, you can have Ohio State keep doing that and we're good.
It also gives them the Boston and probably New York TV market a little bit because of St. John's. They give them the TV, the New York TV market. Yeah. So that's a huge draw. So maybe that had a lot to do with it. St. John's is good right now.
Yeah. Pitino's a draw. St. John's is a draw. People are going to watch that team. Because again, a Pitino coach St. John's team is going to draw eyes, and it is the New York market. So no, I mean, like St. John's, as long as Pitino's there, is a draw. And so again, it's just a question of the question isn't why do you want St. John's? It's because you have Rick Pitino. The question is, how does UCLA get moved out of that? And that's an question I don't know the answer to. And, maybe UCLA has already answered this question. I really don't know.
Well, that's probably you probably hit it with the Big Ten situation.
Yeah. I mean, they had to move one of them out, and I don't know why UCLA was the one, but again, that might've been their own choice.
Well, what is going on in the state of Iowa? Last year, if you recall, there were multiple players from both schools, Iowa State and Iowa, that got caught gambling, online gambling. And remember that it was like
a clear joke is going to be, what else are you going to do? But sorry, that's an unfortunate joke. It's not fair to make that joke against Iowa.
No.
I mean, I think there was,
Well, now you've got staffers. Staffers. The NCAA has disciplined 5 Iowa State staffers for sports gambling. 5 current staffers made over 6,200 online bets, totaling more than $100,000 on pro and college games, including men's and women's Cyclones basketball games. What do these people not understand in Iowa?
I love this. I love that we're making this though, downwind. Do you realize how much we're benefiting from gambling? Like it feels super hypocritical to talk about this like it's not buoying.
Well, but for those that have potential inside information,
sure. Yeah,
that's the deal.
And you don't know if they're using that.
No, but the fact that this keeps happening in Iowa is what's blowing my mind. It's like,
I think it's just they're getting caught. Basically there's a nexus. There is a.
So they're not very smart at what they're doing.
I presume. I don't. There has been one way or another that's been infiltrated in some way that it hasn't necessarily been anywhere else. I mean, like gambling. Sports gambling is so incredibly extensive right now. It's
so prevalent. It's crazy. Yeah. I don't do it much myself. I'll be honest with you. I'll bet here and there. But so many people I know nonstop, constantly.
Yeah.
I'm like going,
well, once it became available and legal, it's illegal in the sense that you don't have to go call your guy that's got, your name written down on pieces of paper and stuff. Once it changed that you don't have to worry about somebody, coming and, snapping your knuckles, if you don't pay, it's accessible. And not only is it accessible, obviously it's been advertised everywhere. It's on, again, it's buoying the industry, and, the advertising is so prevalent. It's in every show. So what's going to happen is people are going to think, well, why shouldn't I get to do this? Why shouldn't I be a part of this? And I can get away with it. I can, they won't catch me. I'm a staffer. Why would they check my phone? Who cares what I do? I
am amazed that they catch these people. I've got to say,
in some cases, yeah. I don't know. The question for me isn't what's in the water with Iowa. Why are they doing it? Again, I haven't followed it closely.
Well, why are they betting on their own teams? That's the thing.
Are they? I don't even know.
That's they got caught betting on men's and women's Cyclone basketball games. That's the idiocy. It's not the betting.
No, I mean that's even worse.
You can't bet on your own stuff, man.
Yeah, no, that's certainly even worse. But I mean, I presume that's always what it is that you think you're going to get away with it. You think, you can do this in such a way that but like you also probably do it in such a way you think, well, no one's going to care. I don't know what level of staffer they were. I mean, if you're an assistant coach or you're, literally if you're a player development person or with the team, that's one thing. If you are like, mid-level sports information staff, if you are in marketing, like all that kind of thing, you're probably thinking, nobody cares what I do. What's it matter to them what I do? Why would anybody be checking my phone to see if I'm making online bets? I'll do it in my non-company phone or my non-company account. Who's going to care? It's legal. So I have no idea. I mean, it's all the possible that they really thought they were going to pull something off here, and these people were higher up. I have not read the story, so I'm
get a burner phone. I mean, come on.
They probably have one. I mean,
how are they getting caught?
I don't know.
Mine.
That I don't know. Like, I'd have to read the story to know. But I mean, the point is, like, okay, why is it happening? It's because everybody thinks they can get away with it, and everybody thinks, well, why shouldn't I be part of this when everybody else is doing it? Like,
you can't get away with it because, man, I remember when they busted those. It was some guy from Indiana that bet on those baseball games a few years ago.
That was really dumb.
Alabama.
That was really dumb. Yeah, no, that I mean, he made it was very obvious that he had inside information because he put a massive
bet $1 million on a stupid college baseball game that didn't matter, and all of a sudden, boom, we're back.
Yeah, people are like that makes me ask some questions. So yeah, that's a bit of an issue. But yeah, so that turned things around really fast. They were able to kind of light the alarm on that one and say, we could have a problem here. And they were able to trace that one really fast and feel like they got a coach fired by the end of the weekend. And that was a pretty fast investigation to be able to connect all the dots on that one. But yeah, that was something else. But yeah, no, I mean, that's what it is they're not allowed to do it, but they think, I mean, again, like, I'm sure, I don't say we all, but lots of people do things that they're not supposed to do because they think they can get away with it. And it's, they have reason to believe that they can. And when everybody's doing it, that's even more enticing because you're just like, okay, well, why can they, but I can't, and you're like, I can get away with it. So
there's a good question. Will Donald Trump get Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame?
Not touching that.
I don't know.
Not touching.
I don't know if it happens. I mean, I know that there's been meetings going on, and
I mean, I don't know.
Rob Manfred is. I don't know if he's just like kind of pushing it down the road because he doesn't want to. I guarantee you, he does not want to be the guy. Nobody wants to be the guy that does it.
If Pete had ever showed any remorse for it, then you might. I mean, Trump seems to just be sort of grabbing onto random side missions to say, I want to do this and I'm going to flex my muscles and make it happen. And I'm not even like, I will go no further into presidential politics than I just did. That's as far as I'm going. So I mean, he's just trying to jump at random things that, like he cares about has some kind of longstanding grievance over. But, from a institutional standpoint, like I get it. Basically, it's like, I mean, Pete never showed remorse for it, and he absolutely did it. He did everything he said he did. He lied about it for decades, and again, incredible player, did so much for the game. And I think there's obviously a lot of people who want to see him in. So, and I don't want to dismiss that. I know my dad wants to see him in, but I think that fact obviously, put him behind. And certainly if you want to keep gambling out of the game, it's hard to say, well, like you're out until somebody powerful says you're not anymore.
Or you die.
If somebody big enough wants you in, we'll let him in,
or once you die. I mean, he's not living, so he can't enjoy that. So
right. And so it's just like, well, what's the point? So like, we'll see, but it's like, I guess, if you're trying to maintain the rule and you're saying this is what it is, it's a ban. I guess it's a lifetime ban and his lifetime has passed. So I guess in theory, you can look at it that way.
That's a good point. Hey, what's up next for you?
This.
For Cleveland tomorrow
couple
night.
more days in my Cleveland hotel, and they'll be going out of game 2 tomorrow night. Churn out some content from whatever occurs along this landscape today, and go from there. Back in Indy, we'll drive back to Indy on Wednesday, and 3 and 4, game 3 and 4 Friday, Sunday. The series is going to go well. Maybe they can clinch the thing. It's going to be an interesting series. So follow us along, check us out.
Keep along. Dustin Dopirak, Indy Stars Pacers beat writer. Make sure you're following him. Appreciate you, brother.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day. We've got more coming up here on this Monday of Indiana Sports Beat Radio. And we're back with it right after these messages. Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right. No payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue, and you get it for just 0.9% financing, or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition, or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemooreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth's sour mash bourbons, sweet mash, and hard road ryes, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular toasted coconut rum. Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Monday. Glad to have you along, no matter where or how you're listening. We appreciate you. Looking forward to this weather warming up. I believe it's supposed to do so as well, right? This week. Checking out this forecast, man. Yes. Today, high of 60. Yuck. Yesterday, 52. Yuckier. Tomorrow, 72. Wednesday, 78. Thursday, 76. 71, 75, and 78. We're on a roll, people. Lots of sunshine when we get to, not until Thursday. Tuesday looks okay. It's all right. At least it's on the way. Man, I cannot wait. Tomorrow, Tuesday's low, 1 degree less than yesterday's high. It's been nuts. It's crazy. Indiana football went back into the portal, added some more depth with the addition of California wide receiver Jonathan Brady. He announced his commitment to the Hoosiers late Saturday night. Brady, very familiar with one Fernando Mendoza, being a Cal transfer. He visited the Hoosiers earlier in the week. Indiana beat out the likes of Tennessee and Miami of Florida for Brady's services. 5'10", 180-pound wideout. It looks like he could fit into that little, oh man, I can't even think of the spot that the wide receiver was lost for. But last season at Cal alone, he racked up 37 receptions for nearly 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. Each of those figures ranked in the top 4 of the Golden Bears during that season.
He also had 5 carries for 28 yards a season ago. So he can be that scat back kind of a guy that Indiana lost earlier. He began his career at New Mexico State as a freshman. He Las Vegas product, caught 23 passes for 310 yards. So he's always been active. And this could be a nice addition, a familiarity with Fernando, both coming from Cal. So I'm sure that had something to do with that. In 23, he had 600 yards on 39 passes as a sophomore. Carried the ball 9 times and rushed for 35 yards and a score during that campaign. So a lot of experience carrying the ball, catching the ball. He was a teammate, obviously, of Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza last season at Cal. The two will rekindle their chemistry from a year ago ahead of this season. So that should make it. They needed to fill that spot, especially Tyler Morris is the guy I was trying to think of, the Michigan transfer who was injured earlier in spring practice. So that's the slot position, and I think he could fit right into that. So Tyler Morris still that's a tough loss, but the 22nd scholarship addition to the Hoosiers via the portal, Brady. So they've added 22 that way. He's got 1 year of eligibility remaining. So they fill that spot, and they look pretty like they've got it going on. So as far as filling the positions they need, I know that depth is always something that you can't have enough of. And I think that they've added the receivers. They've got to stay healthy on the offensive line, of course, as always. If you don't stay healthy there, well, you're out of luck. But, man, let's go to about wrap it up today. Fun day. Great time. Glad I got to talk to Greg. We're getting ready for Indy, baby. The Indianapolis 500 around the corner now, as it is just a few weeks away as we're past the Derby. Got all kinds of things going on in between, but all eyes towards Indianapolis, and we'll be covering that throughout the month of May. Big thanks to Greg Rakestraw, of course. Also, as always, Dustin Dopirak and Conor Enright, one of the newest Indiana Hoosier basketball players. Great conversation with him, man. He very well spoken. You gotta like how he talks, and it's not the words. It's because anybody can say the words. You can tell he's just got that personality, man. I'm looking forward to watching him. He seems to play loose. I bet he plays loose and very comfortable. So looking forward to it all. Back tomorrow to do it again. Hope you guys will join us. Make sure you've hit the like button if you haven't already. If you're following us on YouTube. Back tomorrow to do it all again. Until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.